has the Morrison government lost its mind? All sense of direction? Or here's an alternative theory. Has one of its ministers, Indigenous Australians Minister Ken Wyatt, just gone rogue and derailed it? Because right now, this government should be absolutely focused on the economy. And it should be. Well, first of all, because it can right now boast that millions of Australians are just about to get a tax cut in the mail, a rebate of up to $1,080 once their tax returns have been sent in and checked. For the government, a golden moment, make the most of it. But the second reason it should be absolutely focused on the economy is there's a big chance it's going to go sour. The signs are mostly bad, even though Treasurer Josh Frydenberg was today trying to talk it up.
We talked about the global and the domestic economic outlook and the fact that the fundamentals of the Australian economy remain sound. We're in our 28th consecutive year of economic growth. We have a AAA credit rating. More Australians are in jobs than ever before, and the budget is coming back to surplus for the first time in more than a decade.
Frydenberg even staged a bizarre photo opportunity with Reserve Bank Governor Philip Lowe to show that they were really united on what a great economy this is.
Thank you, Treasurer, for the discussions today. I agree 100% with you that the Australian economy is growing and the fundamentals are strong.
You know, that's from the very same Reserve Bank governor who's just been going around the country making speeches pleading with the government to stimulate the economy. It's the same bloke who's just slashed interest rates to emergency lows, record lows, just 1%. In fact, the truth is that economic growth has just hit a wall. It's just 1.8% over the year, way down on what was predicted. And really, it's worse than that because that figure is propped up by massive immigration. And when you divide that growth, 1.8%, per head of population, well, Australians are actually getting poorer. And look what's happened to the price of your house as well. Now, things are crook. Getting poorer and unemployment going up, wage growth very slow, productivity growing barely, retail sales nearly dead flat, economic confidence low. And economic confidence is what Frydenberg was actually trying to talk up today. And of course, there's the huge debt, and I just don't mean the government debt, it's your personal debt as well. Australian households, on average, owe double what they earn, which is about a world record. So put all that together, we're in trouble. And the Morrison government, I think, needs to be getting us ready in case of bad times. You can't wait a year or two and just say suddenly, whoops, wow, we didn't see that coming. And then there's election and it's all over Red Rover for them. No, it's got to get to grips with this and start talking frankly, honestly with you, starting now. And I think that's what a serious Liberal government would be doing. But what are we hearing instead this week? I mean, unbelievable. This crazy idea from Minister Ken Wyatt that what the government really wants is to divide us by race, change the constitution, recognise the Aboriginal race and perhaps put in there something that activists call the voice, which they define as a new advisory parliament just for Aborigines, advising the real parliament, which is an idea that Ken Wyatt has not ruled out.
When you say that, are you talking about a body that would advise the federal parliament?
Well, yes, I am. I'd rather see us have a structure in which we influence government's thinking.
How would it be formulated? Are we talking necessarily elected or not?
That I want to work through.
As I said last night, how dumb and divisive is this idea? I mean, here is a minister, a member of parliament, who himself identifies as Aboriginal, claiming that Aborigines need a voice, when they have that voice already. Wyatt himself is living, walking, talking proof of that. That voice is called a vote, and every Australian has that vote, whatever their race. But here is one way of illustrating the craziness of what Wyatt is now proposing. These two women are both Australians. They are both born here. They are both politicians too, Pauline Hanson and Jackie Lambie. But Minister Ken Wyatt reckons one of them, Jackie Lambie, should now have more political rights than the other woman because she, Lambie, identifies as Aboriginal.
I'm very aware of my Indigenous heritage, which is the Manajinalajina.
How on earth can the government now even contemplate giving some people on that race basis more political rights under the Constitution over everyone else? Now, if you can't see how racist that is, how divisive, I don't think you should be in the Liberal Party. In fact, it is so dumb and divisive that even Malcolm Turnbull, who I thought was far too far to the left to lead the Liberals, flat out rejected this idea when he was Prime Minister. He said our democracy is built on the foundation of all Australian citizens having equal civic rights, a constitutionally enshrined additional representative assembly for which only Indigenous Australians could vote for or serve in, is inconsistent with this fundamental principle. He's so right. Yet here now comes Scott Morrison, the alleged Conservative, suddenly putting this racist idea back on the table. Who would ever have thought that I would one day miss Malcolm Turnbull? Has Morrison lost the plot? Is he another one of those so-called Liberals who have no real convictions of their own and value most of all the applause of the left, of the ABC? Or here's my alternative theory. Has Ken Wyatt, now that he's been made Indigenous Australians Minister, realised that no Prime Minister can sack him? Look, terrible. He seized this chance and decided to go much further than Morrison ever intended. He's hijacked the ship. Well, either way, this is fast getting out of hand, and Morrison is already facing a revolt from some Liberal MPs astonished by Wyatt's plan. More serious, though, is this. Your government is pushing a plan to divide us by race, a plan I think Australians will reject at a referendum, and is pushing that plan when there is an economy to save. I wouldn't do that, Prime Minister. How long will your popularity last if you look like fiddling with our Constitution while our economy burns?